allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first up, we got our minutes from May 18th, 2026. Trust you guys have all had a chance to look them over, and if they look accurate, I need a motion to approve them as written.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as posted. I'll second.
All right, got a motion and a second to approve the minutes as posted. Let's vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes. Okay, motion carries. Okay, commissioners report. Go ahead, Kyle.
Don't have a whole lot. Mother Nature has blessed us with some rain, which is good. Driving around town, there's quite a few yards that are getting pretty tall and shaggy. Just please do the neighborly thing. Please mow your yard, spray for weeds. We do have ordinance against that. Secondly, the street guys, they've been going out and they've been helping on the ball field regarding bringing in the dugouts. So thank you for doing that. They still got some work to do as far as securing them down to the concrete. That will be coming here in the next couple days as well. We had a couple meetings with more engineering regarding that. They're working, coming along there. Lastly, I guess kind of a plug for Nessa Consulting. They're doing a pick up the patch on Thursday. If the public would like to join, I strongly urge you to call Nessa Consulting, ask for Misty. But they're starting, it's June 4th, and they're starting in the morning. Gonna be picking up along Highway 40. So if you'd like to attend that, call Nessa Consulting, they'll get you on the list. They're gonna provide food, bail on is. So that's all I got, thank you.
I'll keep mine short because there's a bunch of stuff on the agenda that's kind of my department, so.
I accidentally got into trouble over at the police department. And with the election coming up in just a week, I'm going to let the people of Tioga decide if they want me to be a commissioner or not. Tonight, I resign as Tioga Police Commissioner, but I am still seeking re-election. Hope to have your vote on June 9th. Thank you.
Is that like effective immediately or tomorrow?
Right now.
Right now. Okay, so as you know the drill, we'll need a motion to accept his resignation.
I'll make a motion to accept Bob Fusen's resignation.
I'll second.
All right, we got a motion and a second to accept Bob Fusen's resignation as police commissioner. Any discussion on that? Oh, okay, let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. Okay, Stephen, you're up.
Okay. I really don't have much right now. I know we are seeking and looking at a couple things with the water tower still. When there's more present about that, I will speak on it, but for that, that's all I have right now.
Okay. Guys, I got a gamut of things I want to talk about, so bear with me as I muddle through some of it. Now, everybody knows I do not do Facebook. I don't like it. I think there's a bunch of drama, rabble-rousing, stuff like that circulates on it. I stay away from it, but somehow it still finds me. People take screenshots, they send it to me, they want to know whatever, they want me to know what everybody's talking about, and I appreciate a lot of it, but there's some of it that there's like really half-truths that go into it, and I think it's fair that we address some of it, because I want everybody to know like the rest of the story or the true story, at least my version of the story. First thing, it's a pretty easy one for me because it's directly involved with me. I hear that there's people, specifically one person, that has a real problem with me voting at these meetings. I don't know if it's a lack of education, just spitefulness. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to try to educate everybody that's listening or here anyway on how this works. So, per North Dakota Century Code, a commission president is an elected voting member of the board. I'm an elected voting member of the board and I'm going to vote. I mean, that was one of the chief complaints I heard from former commission presidents was nobody knows where they stand because they don't vote. The board members all vote. Commission president doesn't. So that's why I do it. It's not to grind an axe with anybody. It's just, I mean, that's what I'm here for. And you guys need to know where I stand on things. I think where it gets confusing is everybody says like, I'm the mayor. I'm not the mayor. I'm the commission president, okay? There's three forms of government. There's a council form of government. That person is called a mayor. They chair the meetings, but they don't vote unless a tie occurs. And I think that's where some of this confusion's coming from. There's obviously the commission form of government, which is what we are. And again, I'm a voting member of the board. Lastly, there's a modern council. Also, they call that guy a mayor. They preside over the meetings and they vote. Just like I do, okay? But we are not a council form of government. We're not a modern council. We are a commission form, and that's why I vote. Again, I just want everybody to understand that's why I do it. Another complaint was employee retention. We've had turnover over the last couple of years, okay? The question was, shouldn't this be calling for pause and question by the community? Listen, we hear you loud and clear. This has been a thing over the last 2 years, but it hasn't just been the last 2 years. It happens in every industry. It happens everywhere. There's turnover. The part that really grinds my gears is that they're throwing around lists of people that have left, and it's directly because of this commission board. Totally not fair. One of the names was actually the former commission president. That person isn't on this board because of the election. You know, the community decided that guy, you can't put that on us. I mean, technically, somebody had to win an election and that's why that person's not here. But to say we ran him out, that's not fair. We've had a number of resignations. A lot of them had their own justification on why they were leaving. We decided to make some headcount changes. Some of those people didn't want to work with that selection that we made. That was their choice, their prerogative to leave. We made a decision on a candidate during the hiring process. One of the names was actually terminated by another person on the list. Like, you can't use that to pad stats. But if somebody is terminated and then that person that terminated that person leaves, you don't get to count that as two. I'm sorry. Another one, they had family matters that came up. They moved multiple states away. Like, you can't blame people for that. You can't use that as a statistic either. The part that really irritates me about throwing out names and padding stats as far as a headcount perspective goes is all of these positions where we've had departures, they were backfilled. It didn't leave us short. As a matter of fact, they were backfilled by like highly competent and motivated people. We've made some really, really good hires. And I don't want anyone feeling like just because they backfilled a role that was formerly filled by someone else, that they aren't meeting expectations, because they are. I'm inclined to believe that in some cases we even leveled up. Not saying the former employees weren't great hands or great employees, because they were. But I think it's wrong to act like we aren't in a strong position today. Like we've got a great employee base. Yeah, and I don't want to take up too much time, but our recent public hearing, everybody knows that what went on with that, it was ultra uncomfortable, super unfortunate. But again, I think there's plenty of, I don't necessarily want to say mindless, maybe uneducated comments going on about, that stuff needs to be private. That should never be public. Listen, we are, again, a commission form of government. Century Code tells us we have to do things a certain way. We're not going to bend those rules. We're not going to break those rules. We are going to follow it to a T. In that Century Code, it says in commission cities, charges have to be preferred. That has to be done at a meeting with the board. A removal hearing has to be completed within 10 days. Like, these are the rules that commission cities have to follow, and we are going to follow them. Council systems, they do it differently. That's why you don't see a lot of news articles and stuff. And you also have to remember, like, these rules are designated just for appointed officials, which is a very, very small sample size of our employee base. It's really unfortunate that a lot of these complaints and a lot of these things being said, like they need to be in private. Again, it's just rabble rousing, and it's coming from people that have been on this commission before. Either they don't know the rules themselves or they purposely didn't follow them, but I'm of the mind that we are always going to follow Century Code. We're not going to bend rules. We're not going to break rules. Kind of along those lines too, we kept saying like we violated this person's privacy. We released information about personal or medical records. I just kept seeing HIPAA. If you go back and you watch the preferred charges meeting, this commission did not say one word, not one word. It was community members that came up to the mic and started unearthing all of that stuff. Because it came up at a meeting from the community, you do not get to blame the commissioners for doing that. Not only that, but during the removal hearing, if you guys had listened to our attorney, a waiver was signed releasing all of that stuff, bringing it open to talk about. If that side of the coin felt it was important to talk about, that's why they released the waiver. That's the only reason we even talked about it. Like I said, we protected that information as best as we could. It wasn't us that brought it up. The last thing, I did see a comment about a former commissioner had offered to come back and help us out until that term expired, and I just rejected it. There's more to that story, and it's not even arguable. Is it true that that person reached out to me and offered to help? 100% true. That is exactly what happened. The additional part of the story that wasn't told was it was a conditional offer to come back and help. It was, I will come back to help. I only want to come to one meeting a month. I only want to vote on PD matters, and I do not want to go into City Hall. Okay, you guys know that I have struggled with commissioners not being all in on stuff. If you are not here the first and third Monday, we even talked about it at a commission meeting a few months back. Like, that is the expectations. If you are elected to be a commissioner, you are going to be here the first and third Monday of the month. You're going to be a full participant, and you are going to be looking after everything in the city. Obviously, you have your portfolio that is assigned to you. I mean, that's your bread and butter, but you are going to be part of this board. I absolutely could not allow one person to come be a commissioner under conditions, knowing I've been telling people like, look, you have to be engaged. You have to be a full participant. We talked about that. And again, my answer, your guys' answer was, is if you can't go all in, I don't want you to go at all. So just a couple things that are just, like I said, these comments, these screenshots, they find me, and absolutely like that people have their opinion, but if you're going to spread one, you got to tell the whole story, not just a part of it to create a narrative. Anywho, that's all I've got. Let's move on to the modification or approval of the agenda.
I don't have anything. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as posted.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as posted. Any discussion on that? Stephen, are you good with it?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right, let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. Okay, we are on to old business. Liz, I thought I saw your initial, and I see you. There you are.
Here I am. Well, good evening. I too will try to keep it brief because I do think we have as Jaden indicated, a fairly concentrated and while short agenda. I know we have a couple of depositions next week, and then or several, I should say, the week after next, or 2 weeks after that. I have to pull up my calendar to get those dates exactly right. We'll be preparing for that, and I will update you all with the completion of those depositions as they occur. Those relate to the Benson Street matter, roller coaster road matters. So that's on my radar, and I'll be preparing for those here shortly. I do want to thank Bob Fusen for his service. It was short. I think it's fair to say that, one of the best ways that commissioners support their departments is by avoiding embroiling themselves in controversies that detract from those departments. This is a democratic commission, and I think it was absolutely appropriate in light of those realities that he'll let the public decide to avoid further distraction. So I appreciate his service, and I think that departure was reasonable and honorable, and so I'll thank him, even though I see he's no longer there. I guess I don't have a whole lot more to add, other than, I respect everything that our commission president has said, because they're hard things to say, but it's a hard job, and hard truths, they exist. And so I think it's really important that the commission always does hear, and always had heard, this commission public comments. You guys were diligent in adding that as an agenda item before it even became legislatively necessary under recent statute. I think that's super important. But it's also fair to speak the whole truth rather than convenient portions of it. And I know that the last hearing was very tough. It was very tough on everyone for a lot of reasons. I think it was good and deliberate. Everyone is entitled to an opinion, but I'll just say that, I think it goes without saying, frankly, that big minds think about ideas, and big minds think about facts, and smaller ones, they talk a lot of trash about people. And it makes me sad to see the conversation devolve that way. But I know that we have a tough board. We have a lot of good employees, and we have a great team at Tioga. And so I have every confidence that despite some of those hard truths of politics, the city will continue to function, and function very well, due in large part to a very good group of leaders that we have seated up there. So I'll thank all of you and the rest of the city for enduring some of that. I think that's all I have to say tonight. I will jump in as needed on the agenda, and I will listen carefully and be right here.
Liz, I have one question.
Yes,
Is
sir.
the roller coaster road still slated for September, or what's the time frame on that now?
No, that's December. Remember, it moved. So that's December. It's moved a couple of times, so I'm totally not surprised that you're one trial date back, but we are slated for December at this point. I cannot imagine, I don't want to jinx us by saying this out loud, but I'm going to say it anyway. I can't imagine that it would move again, Kyle. I mean, the suit should have been resolved some time ago. The only reason that it moved this last time was because of a rule called joinder, joining an additional third party to the action. And they're entitled to due process like any other plain Jane defendant or counterpled defendant. So that naturally caused a continuance of the proceeding. But we are very depthy into discovery. I think the issues in that suit are very well defined. And so short of any really, really, really big surprises, which I think are very unlikely at this point, I would not expect that there'd be another continuance at all.
Okay, do we know if the survey of the sinking between those two streets, if that ever was completed, Josh?
I was going to say, that's a Josh question. I have not had an update that Mr. Nagel, Steve, and Josh have gotten together on that, or that there's been a subsequent examination. So I'll let Josh speak to that.
Yeah, we have not met on that. I guess we were kind of, I guess, going with the impression of, no work being completed this year on it, so we haven't scheduled anything there. But if you guys would like, we can definitely line something up with him to take it to this summer. So
Liz, don't you think that'd be useful as far as using that information regarding the proceedings?
Yeah,
Do we
I
have
think
that?
Josh and I can follow up about that, but I guess my last understanding, and Josh, this may be my fault more than yours, my last understanding based on the commission meeting was that there were some concerns about slight but observable movement. And there was going to be a subsequent inspection conducted as between, engineers or geotech in the way of Steve and Braun, just to have an examination of that, irrespective of the work that was to occur. Maybe I misunderstood that conversation, but I reached out to RJ and I think that was his understanding, and that was to be arranged. The only reason it wasn't arranged earlier was because there was snow on the ground and we were concerned that, that might not be the best time at which to complete those activities. But your memory might differ from mine.
yeah, no, I can I guess we may be crossing some wires here. So yeah, I will follow up with Steve here and see what his availability is. So
I think
Okay.
it'd be very useful as far as even after this spring and the thaw, that there's a lot of sinking and settling that has occurred additionally from what happened before. Thank you.
yeah.
Anything else, gentlemen?
No, I'm good. Jaden?
No, I'm good. Thanks, Liz.
Super. Thank you.
All right, Josh, you're up.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys. I just have the an update for the baseball field project this evening. So as far as construction goes, they're kind of I guess pending the changes here that we had talked on at the last meeting. They're kind of running low on things here, so it's good timing here to get this change order in front of you related to the modifications to the field there. But they pretty well have the infield is all complete. Some of the for all the concrete's poured out there. Topsoil grading pretty well complete. So really just kind of waiting for the go ahead on the fencing and modifications to some of the sodding and seeding out there. So that's where that stands. Contractor's application for payment number 1. I have that included in your packets. The value of that application for payment is $286,546.50. And I would recommend approval of that pay application.
You guys see that number okay? All right, it's $286,546.50.
Y'all make a motion to approve the pay app number one in the amount of $286,546.50.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve pay app one. Any discussion on that one? Okay, let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. All right, Josh, moving on.
Okay, great, thank you. The next item then I have is change order number one, and that includes I guess the modifications to the north field, bringing that fence into 200 feet. There's kind of some reductions in some of the pay items and increases, as well as addition of the decorative concrete out there. I guess the component related to the north field ends up as an increase in contract value of $13,302.25. I'll pause at that part. We'll just kind of talk north field here, and then we can run through the south field. Are there any questions related to the changes on the north field there?
No, Josh, and just so because not everybody's looking at what I'm looking at, it's not gonna make a whole lot of sense that we're making the field from 275 feet to 220 feet, yet the price is going up. I guess the moral of the story here is, the park asked, being how we're trying to make these fields like in kind. The original plan did not have concrete from the bleacher area to the dugouts like the south field does. And they've got some really nice, like stamped concrete there. So that in itself was an extra 31 grand. So it really overshoots the money that we would have saved on sod and whatnot. Plus there was some additional fencing that we had to acquire just from storage. It wasn't in good shape, or we were missing some, right, Josh?
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, it's not gonna make sense that we're making a smaller field, but yet it's gonna cost more. It's those extra bolt-ons that we added to make the two fields like in kind.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order number one, in the amount of $13,302.25.
Sorry, Kyle, the change order number one includes the whole thing. I just wanted to kind of break out the talk north field and south field, so maybe we should not go with the motion, and we can talk south field and see if you guys want to add that component in, or if we want to just.
Why don't you
hold-
just table your motion, Kyle, and finish the discussion of change order one? Just table it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table my motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second to table Kyle's motion. Let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion tabled. All right,
Oh.
moving on, Josh.
Okay, great. So yeah, now we have the south field component of the change order. So I get really the scope of work on the south field is going to be redoing the infield. The infield will be the same as the north field, adding irrigation and sodding the outfield. And then there's replacement of some of the chain link fencing, mostly along the right field line, and then about 2/3 of the left field line would be replaced with the fencing there. So generally that's the kind of high level scope of work included there. That change order cost for the south field improvements comes out to a total of 291,000, or excuse me. Yeah, $291,372.50. So if this component is added with the north field changes there, the total of the change order would be $304,674.75. Any questions on that portion?
I do. There's mobilization charges for the south field. Is there gonna be like a huge gap between them finishing the north field and moving on to the south field? Cause I don't feel like we should be paying mob charges twice. If they're already here, they're already here.
Yeah, and not, there's not gonna be a huge gap, but there will be, part of that is some of their overhead costs and whatnot get put in there, as well, and then I would say they won't be able to necessarily move right in like their landscapers, those crews, the sprinkler crews, they won't be able to just jump right over there and do that work until prep work is done. So unfortunately, the majority of the work will continue, but the crews and whatnot, they'll have to move on to other things before they're able to move back into uh, complete the work as earlier, prior phases of the work need to take place before they can do their things. So,
Okay. I mean, you didn't sound very convincing. Do you agree with that line item? I need you to tell me, like, if it's reasonable, sure, but if you yourself don't agree with it, maybe we should be questioning it.
No, I do. They're like I said, they're the dirt work guys have to come in. They've already moved their equipment out, really. So they'll have to come in for removals of that, and then the sprinkler work won't continue straight through from the north side to come back to complete that work. So I do feel it is reasonable.
Okay.
The one question I had is, are we boring underneath the roadway for irrigation, or how are we getting the water over on that side?
Yes, yep, they'll bore a line underneath. So
Is that pretty much gonna come down the north field fence line then and straight south under the road that way?
we're still waiting on their proposed layouts of the sprinkler system for the north field now, since we revised that. Initially it was going to come along, the main line was going to come along the right field line, but they may change the routing of that slightly now. But once we get their layout from the irrigation contractor, we'll know where they'll be running that through. So
I just hope we're gonna stay outside of the fence in case something happens and we have to tear up that section. We're not gonna tear up the field, is I guess my questioning.
mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess when we get that, we'll chat with them and see kind of where what their layout is of that before they had their trunk line running along that, or main feed line running along the right field. So it may stay the same, or maybe they'll run it along the outfield fence line potentially now. So
Yeah, well, I guess I'll make a motion to approve the change order number 1. That's including the north and south field in the amount of $304,674.75.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve change order 1 in the amount of $304,674.75. Any discussion on that one?
I do think the mobilization is a little high. but I think we have to take into account that this is a change order. And unfortunately, that's the price we have to pay. For them to come back with all their equipment and do the work correctly.
Yeah, no, Kyle, I agree. I mean, this is kind of a self-inflicted wound, right? The original plan, what was talked about with all the interested parties or the stakeholders was we were gonna build a 275-foot field. Started breaking ground, field looked pretty big, there was a change of mind. So rather than shortening the south field, it was more fiscally responsible to shorten the north field while they were building it. Unfortunately, there's some costs that come into things. I mean, if I'm bidding a project and somebody changes the plan midway through, yeah, it's gonna cost you some money. So totally understand it, don't love it, but at any rate, got a motion in a second, let's vote.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, I guess that's all I have for you guys tonight. So unless you have anything else for me, that should wrap up my report. So,
Okay, thanks, Josh.
all right. Thank you guys.
Okay, old business number 3, Bros Engineering. We're talking about task orders.
Good evening, Commissioners. I have for you the 3 task orders that we talked about a month or so ago for the 3 potential projects the city was looking at doing based off of the meeting you guys held on potential projects a while back. Task orders sit about the same. It's just kind of here for discussion, whether or not we'd like to move on them. The only kind of item I'd like to discuss is on the Dakota Street reconstruction, the one that has water and sewer tied into it. The state's SRF program, which is a way of getting low interest rate loans for sewer and water, are beginning to collect their questionnaires to the priority list, which are due June 30th. Now, filling out that questionnaire doesn't commit you to anything, but it puts you on the list. That way later you can apply for funding. So would highly advise putting that project on there, because even if you don't do it this year, you're on their list, and then each year you follow up with it and they have it in their budgeting system. It's a effective 2% interest rate loan for water and sewer projects. It's 1.5% interest, the 0.5% administrative fee. There is some cost to applying because there is a procedure going through, but it's the procedure of filling out the questionnaire is pretty quick, and I advise going through that. It's worth the time to keep your options open. Other than that, everything in the task order is kind of the same as we presented before. Nothing's changed except the dates. Do you guys have any questions on those or any kind of discussion you'd like to have?
Me personally, I don't have any questions. If any, nothing's changed. We've been awfully busy the last few weeks, so I haven't put a whole lot of thought into these projects because I know they're quite a ways out there anyway. Not only that, but I believe we're still waiting on estimates from more engineering too, right? Not project like task order costs, but overall scope project costs. So I honestly, I've just kind of been in a stalemate on all 3 of them. Well, Josh, we have you still, right? Have you guys seen anything from him?
I haven't seen anything from him, no.
I haven't either, no. As far as the Dakota Street one, your regards to this, information for the grant, when's that due, I guess?
So the first one is due June 30th. The I believe that's the drinking water one, DWSRF. The other one hasn't come out with when their deadline is, but you can pull them both and just submit them at the same time because a lot of the information transfers over it. It just kind of makes sense to do them together.
I don't have any more questions at the moment, but thank you for letting us know about that questionnaire. And I think it would be wise to, you know, do that. Like even if we don't decide, whatever this year, it's always there next year. So, yeah.
How long does it take to put that together?
like a half hour.
Okay, so we can, if these guys wanted to jump on something, it could happen the 15th or
Yeah,
next meeting.
it doesn't take much time at all for me to fill out that questionnaire. Takes a little more time probably for a new project compared to one where you're doing the update, because you can copy it over. I might need to ask Wendy a couple questions and then submit it to her for review, because she's the one who officially signs off on it before it's submitted.
I appreciate your information and coming tonight. If you're available on the 15th of June, next meeting, cause we can talk to Josh and have him get all of his pricing thrown together as well. And then we can, look everything over prior, I guess, and then talk about it and come up with a decision at that point. I think would be best.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to new business. First up, we got our 2025 audit. And the same thing as minutes. I trust you guys have looked that over very, very closely, and if you're in agreement with everything, you're happy with how Rathenmeyer put everything together, we'll just need a motion to approve the audit report.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 audit report.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the 2025 audit report. Any discussion on that? The only thing I'll say is it looks great.
Mhm.
We are in a very, very good position. Okay, let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. Okay, we are moving on to an invoice for City Hall's roof repair. I gotta pull that up. Okay, so we've had an area that has historically leaked on the, I guess it'd be the northwest or southeast corner of the building. And I believe Dan was working on this, right? Bringing folks in to evaluate and decide if we needed to make repairs, which obviously we probably do if the roof's leaking. So this quote is in the amount of $3,883.
Did, these guys come out, and I'm assuming that's the only hole that they found, right? From how I'm understanding the scope of work.
Yeah, they inspected the roof.
I'll make a motion to approve the Tioga America in the amount of $3,883.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the Tech to America Dakota's invoice in the amount of $3,883. Any discussion on that one? Okay, let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. All right, Jaden, you're up. CD renewal, what's on your mind?
Yep. So we had our CD renew at the end of May here. So now it's June 1st. We'll need to figure out if we want to go ahead and throw that money into another CD for 6 or 12 months. It doesn't make a difference to me either way. Both are good. Looks like the rate for the 6 months is gonna be 3.25. So I don't think we could go wrong, either one. Because even if we did a year We're just kind of beginning construction season. If, we needed some funds, then, it should time out, pretty good, so. Guess with that, I'll make a motion to, renew, another 6 months CD at the Bank of Tioga at 3.25%.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to renew another CD with the Bank of Tioga for a 6-month term with an interest of 3.25%. Any discussion on that?
Question I have is what's the dollar amount we are going to put in on that CD?
What was the original amount without the interest?
You said it out last time that the interest goes into the checking account, so it doesn't stay. So it'd be 5 million.
Do we probably need to amend the motion then with the dollar amount?
I don't know that
yeah.
you need, I don't know that you need to amend it. Why don't you just clarify what your motion intended, Kyle?
Yeah, so my motion was, I move that we renew another 6-month CD. So the 5 million going into another 6-month CD at the Bank of Tioga at the rate of 3.25, and move that the interest occurred off the expiring CD goes, into, our checking account at the Bank of Tioga.
Okay, all good, still in discussion, I agree. It is so nice to have the money to throw into a CD. We are a team, don't spend money, and where it offers all sorts of financial flexibility for us, so I love that we're in this opportunity to do this. Let's vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Okay, number 7, approval to advertise for chief of police. Pretty self-explanatory there.
I'll make a motion to approve to advertise for chief of police. Do we have any kind of scope of how long we want to set that, though?
So it'll publish what, Saturday?
Okay,
But whatever you want. I think he's.
we'll roll with that, July 1st.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to advertise for the chief of police position until July 1st, 2026. Any discussion on that? Okay, let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. Okay, moving on to the 90-inch mower. Kyle, I know you want this one.
So speaking with Jason Steele, we have one of our mowers has been kind of giving us a lot of headache lately. So we have some other areas that we are mowing, and we have a couple tool caps, and Jason was getting some prices on stuff. And this mower, 90-inch mower, is larger than our other mowers we have. As far as looking into the future, things like that, try to be a little bit more efficient on a few things. Instead of replacing that mower, would be just to purchase an attachment for our toolcat or bobcat. So that's what this quote is in front of us. It would be a 90-inch mower from Bobcat, out of Williston, and it's for $8,862 even. And it is a just a mower that goes on the front and it's got wheels. It's a finish mower. So it'd be just like your push mower, riding lawnmower at home, be a nice clean cut. So I make a motion to approve this quote from Bobcat in the amount of $8,862.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the quote from Bobcat for the 90-inch mower, sorry, in the amount of $8,862. Any discussion on that one? Okay, let's vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carries. And we are on to the salary policy.
Okay, so, a while back, me and Wendy kind of had a discussion that we'd like to change up the salary policy a little bit. Kind of just modifying the already existing one. So put a lot of work into that and came up with something that's good. It's just changing it a little bit. It changes it kind of to percentages, I guess. And it kind of moves kind of the time frame and how it works. So instead of hashing out changing steps all throughout the year because people start at different times, this is going to kind of move it all to the end of the year after the end of year reviews. So then we'd go through all that process. So how it'll work is the policy will, after the end of year review, the supervisor and the commissioner will get together and they'll decide, about raise recommendations and whatnot. And then how it'll work in the step schedule is each step will have a percentage point. So if an employee was up for a raise, the supervisor and the commissioner would decide, how big of a raise. There's a minimum and a maximum. So then they'll fall within that percentage. And then the next, so you have a certain percentage within that step, and then when you progress on to the next step, that'll take place in 3-year increments. So yeah, so it's heavily modified, but it's going off the old one. It just kind of changes things a little bit as far as percentages, and it moves the timeline kind of to the end of the year, so we kind of take care of all that stuff at once. There's also a change on it about cost of living, because we've kind of been trying to do research and figure out how can we find out about cost of living and what we should do for cost of living raises at the end of the year. And we asked around and nobody could really give us a clear number on or an idea of how they figure that out. They just kind of throw a number at it. And I just thought that was kind of lame, I guess. I'd like to have something that we can actually accurately tell. So there's federal data and state data that gets put out, and in this new policy, we'll kind of just go off of that. That way we have something kind of tangible to look at as a reference to see where we're at with those raises. That's pretty much it, I guess, unless you guys have more questions on it.
No, I like it, but I just want to clarify, like this. It's different, obviously. It's quite a bit different than.
I probably
what we've been
explained it
used
very
to.
poorly, but
No, you did great. So just to make sure that we're aligned, essentially this encourages and promotes good performance from employees, right? So now if you're doing a great job, you don't have to wait 3 years to get a nice bump.
Yeah, you'll
That
be able
happens.
to, you'll be able to get yearly, raise, within a certain, percentage. I believe is it 5%, Wendy? Is that what we decided, or 6?
Yeah, you'll want to, as a commission, determine what that spread is.
Okay,
But the spread is.
that's what we were thinking anyway. So the spread is like up to, you could get up to 5%, increase, in that step. Once you hit that, if you hit that, then you're done, until your, 3-year mark, and then you go up into the next step. And then you can get, up to 5% again within that step. So it's different, but
But tenure alone doesn't guarantee a raise. It's performance driven.
it's more performance driven, yes.
You do not have to wait for 3 years to advance a step.
Yeah, but there's like way more opportunity for, if
So
you're
it's-
just getting it, you could be up, every year pretty much.
Advance fast and make more money faster, so it's employee friendly
I think so.
if you perform. I like it. It's a long time coming. I know that.
Well, what are you guys thinking, percentage wise? Do you like 5%? We should probably figure out what to be. And that's like the max, we can set a minimum too.
I would, personal opinion, I would set the ranges as high as you're comfortable with. Like you definitely wanna give people something to shoot for, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with 5, or we've even talked about, 6. And the only reason 6 is because it works better with that 3-year increment, like, let's say you were up for one for whatever. All 3 years,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
Whatever you
that.
guys think, I guess.
6 is good. I mean, definitely easier to divide by 3.
It is.
I like 6% as well.
I think it's a great change in our pay base. Because it gives people that are more proactive and more enthusiastic to get compensated for that. As far as if people are more efficient throughout the day or the week or the year, that just drives everyone else because they're like, hey, they're doing a great job. They're getting rewarded. Why don't I do the same thing? Not only that, but we can be better as a community overall. And maybe we can save some costs on certain items as well. Get pretty efficient.
I like the convenience of it, of being off the end of year reviews, and we kind of deal with all that, like kind of at the same time instead of spread out all throughout the year. I like it.
Yeah, the only caveat though is our department heads, if we're basing this off of annual reviews, they're gonna have to be very, very engaged and make sure that their recommendations are in before budget season.
That's another reason I want it though, because I really want the supervisors to be really engaged, and I want the commissioners to be engaged too. That's why it's written in the way it is. So like the supervisor and the commission sit down, they have a conversation and they decide. Obviously, the governing board ultimately decides, but it gives a good chance for conversation before it comes to the board. And the commissioner of the department's got to bring it to the board. So it kind of forces the commissioner to really be active too. We like that.
Yep, I do like it. I do not like people feeling handcuffed to 3-year periods. Like I'm not gonna advance, I'm not gonna make more until I reach 3 years. I mean, a lot can happen. There's a lot of good work that can go into that before that 3-year mark. And I think they should be rewarded for it.
And there's been, like, we've ran into some hiccups before. Like raises given like before that, like we've just had so many issues before. And when we threw this together, we just kind of tried to think of all the stuff that we have been through. And this kind of eliminates all those hiccups. So. So I'll make a motion to approve this new salary policy. And we are in agreement then on the 6%.
Yep.
Do you need me to motion it any better, or does that make sense?
I don't know. It's up to Kyle.
I think
we
you
need to,
can-
we need to put a policy number on this. Yeah, Liz?
Yeah, put a policy number on it, and then Jaden, I would just clarify again, I don't think you need to amend that your motion for adoption of the policy and procedure includes the 6% bracket.
I'll amend my motion and I will just make a motion to adopt this new policy number. What do we want to call it? 2026 year. Fine, or
Throw a dash and a number behind it, 2026-03. I believe we're at 1 and 2, so.
Yep. And just have that show that the percentage, I guess, that we agreed upon is gonna be 6%.
I'll second that.
I butchered that, but it's
Okay.
This is good.
I think
Good
we
as
got
can
it.
do.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to adopt the City of Tioga Salary Policy and Procedure number 2026_03 to encompass an in-step range of 6%. Any discussion on that?
I guess thank you and Wendy for putting that together.
Yeah, good work, guys.
Welcome.
Okay, let's vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carries. Okay, we're on the consent agenda. We've got bills, our bi-weekly payroll, April financials, planning and zoning for a building application, planning and zoning for a conditional use permit, gaming site authorization for the Tioga American Legion, and a special event liquor license for the Model Tavern.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion on that? Let's vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion carries, and we're on to public comment. Does anybody want to talk about anything that we talked about tonight?
So, coming from the world of, business development, and we did some recruiting at the old company that I worked at in Fargo. So if you're going to, I don't know who takes on the whole application for filtering through for the new chief of police, but it is just my personal opinion that there are some really good services out there to have a company, filter out the right people, put those flags out there that you guys have certain requirements for your new chief of police and all that. And so I just thought, with everything that, transpires in the future, I think that that could only be a benefit thing. And so that was my only public comment to add.
Kind of outfits?
Hmm?
What kind of outfits?
Well, just like,
Some names out there.
so there's, I mean, I can send you an email on what I think would be beneficial, but I have a couple people I know out of Fargo-based companies, that have done work in these fields before. So they put, strong requirements on what you guys want, and so there's no gray area. It's black and white that you require this out of your next individual that will step into this position. Whether that's internal or external, I think great either way, but I just think one of these companies that do it every day as a specialty thing, and so I think that that relieves some stress off of you guys as a commission having to sift through resumes day in and day out, or I don't know if the city hall people do that, but anyways, I just think that having something like that could be very beneficial for you guys for the future, not, having that employee retention could be also very positive, so. Yeah, but I can send an email to the commission, the people that I would recommend, so.
Okay. Anybody else? It's a quick one.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to adjourn. Let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, motion carries. Time check. I don't have my, okay, we're adjourned at 8:07 PM.
Thanks, guys.